Branding is not just my job, it's what I know, inside and out. With over 10 years experience, I've worked with businesses of all sizes, helping them go from being just another name in the market to a brand that people can't forget. Today, I want to share what I've learned, and we're gonna start with the basics. What is branding, really? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Ask 10 people what branding is, and you'll probably get 10 different answers. Some will say it's about your logo, it's about your visuals. Others will call it's your marketing. And some will think it's all about your customer experience. So, if branding can mean so many different things, how do you know that you're doing it right? What if I told you that most businesses are missing the mark on the one thing that truly defines their brand? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know exactly what branding is, but you'll also have the tools to make it work for you. Let's dive in. So to answer the question, what is branding really? Branding is the identity of your business. Think of it like a person. Your logo is like your face. It's what people recognize. Your tone of voice is how you speak. Are you approachable, funny, or professional? Your values are your personality, what you stand for, what you believe in. All of these pieces come together to create a feeling. That's what branding is, a way to connect with your audience emotionally. Okay, let's talk about why branding is so important. Picture this, you've got a business and you want people to buy your stuff. But here's the thing, people don't just buy because you exist. You have to influence them. Now, if all you think branding is about is slapping a logo on your website and calling it a day, here's the reality, that's not enough. You pay a designer to create a logo, get a beautiful website done, and you put it out into the world. What happens next? You assume people will magically find your website, fall in love with your visuals, read your copy, and boom, buy. Doesn't work like that. There are hundreds, if not thousands or millions of businesses fighting for the same attention as yours. They're not just sitting back with logos and websites. They're digging deep. They're asking, who's my audience? What makes them tick? What are their fears, their goals, their biggest problems? And here's the key. Once they understand that, they're building their brand to connect on a deeper level. They're creating messages, visuals, and experiences that don't just tell people what they sell. They influence how people feel about their brand. Let me give you an example. Imagine you walk into a coffee shop. The menu is confusing, the staff is unfriendly, and the decor feels like it's stuck in the 90s. Are you gonna go back? Probably not. Now imagine a different coffee shop. The menu is simple and clear, staff greets you with a smile, and the decor feels cozy, like it was made just for you. Not only are you coming back, you're telling your friends about it. That's the power of branding. It's not just about what you sell, it's about how you make people feel. And when you get it right, your brand becomes the reason people trust you, remember you, and choose you over the competition. Before we dive deeper, let's clear up a common point of confusion: the difference between brand strategy and brand identity. These two terms are often used interchangeably, but they are actually very different. And understanding the distinction can completely change how you approach branding. What is brand strategy? Think of your brand strategy as the blueprint of your brand. It's the plan that guides every decision you make about how your business looks, feels, and speaks to your audience. Your brand strategy answers questions like, who's my target audience? What problem am I solving for them? What makes my business different from the competition? What values do I want to communicate? It's about the why and the how behind your brand. Without a strong strategy, your branding efforts are just guesswork. You might hit the mark sometimes, but you're not building something consistent or intentional. What is brand identity? Now, your brand identity is the visual and tangible expression of your brand strategy. Remember when I mentioned that the brand identity is like your face? It's what people see when they interact with your business. This includes your logo, your color palette, your typography or fonts, your packaging, even the look of your social media posts. Brand identity is where the strategy comes to life. It's how your brand shows up in the world and communicates its personality visually. But here's the catch. It should always be guided by your strategy. Your identity without a strategy is just decoration. And here's how they work together. Your brand strategy is the why. It's what gives your brand depth and direction. Your brand identity is the how. It's how you bring that strategy to life, visually and emotionally. Think of it like building a house. The strategy is your foundation and your blueprint. It makes sure that everything is stable and built to last. The identity, that's the paint. The colors, the furniture, the style, it's what people notice first. But it only works because the structure underneath is solid. So now that we've broken down the difference between brand strategy and brand identity, let's talk about the 5 pillars of a successful brand. So pillar number 1, brand DNA. What makes your brand tick? Your brand DNA is the essence of your business. It's your purpose, your values, and your mission all wrapped into one. Ask yourself, why does my business exist beyond making money? What values guide every decision we make? What change do I want to see in my industry or community? Your brand DNA is your North Star. It keeps you focused and gives your audience a reason to connect with you on a deeper level. For example, Nike's DNA isn't just about selling shoes, it's about inspiring people to push them to the limit and just do it. So, what's your purpose? What drives your business? Once you define this, everything else falls into place. Pillar number 2, target audience. Who are you speaking to? This pillar is all about understanding the people you're trying to reach. If you don't know who your audience is, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks. Here's how to figure it out. Demographics. How old are they? What is their age group? Are they old? Are they young? Are they middle-aged? Location. Where do they live? What is their gender? What is their income? How much do they earn? What is their spending? What is their disposable income like? Psychographics. Now you're going into the psychology of your target audience. What do they care about? What matters to them? What are their goals? What are their fears? Behavior. How do they shop? Do they like to go to the mall? Do they like to shop online? What influences their decision? The clearer you are about your audience, the easier it is to create a brand that speaks directly to them. Remember, you're not trying to please everyone. You're building trust with the right people. Here's a quick tip. Speak to a specific group, not everyone. When you focus on a niche audience, your brand becomes relatable and trustworthy because it feels like it's speaking directly to the people. The next pillar, positioning strategy. Simply, why should people choose you? Your positioning strategy is all about standing out in a crowded market. Why should someone pick your business over competition? To answer that, let's focus on 3 things. The first one, your unique value. What do you offer that no one else does? Second one, your audience needs. What problem are you solving for them? Third one, the competitor gap. Where are they falling short and how can you fill the void? Pillar number 4, brand name and tagline. The words that introduce your brand. When done right, your name and tagline communicate who you are, what you stand for, and why people should care, all in an instant. Now here's the thing, a lot of people jump straight into picking a name at the start, but the truth is, it's most effective when you do it after defining your strategy. Once you know your audience, your market position, the personality that you want to project, creating a name and tagline becomes so much easier and way more impactful. And when choosing a name, by the way, keep it really simple. Make sure it's easy to say, spell, and remember. Does it stand out in your industry? Does it evoke the right emotions for your audience? And for your tagline, think of it as your brand's hook. It's the line that tells people what you're about in just a few words. It should be clear, compelling, and true to your mission. For example, Airbnb's tagline is "Belong Anywhere." Short but powerful. It doesn't just describe what they do. It promises a feeling of connection and home, no matter where you are. So don't rush this step. The brand name and tagline are the foundation of how people remember you and connect with your business. When they're aligned with your strategy, they don't just represent your brand. They invite people to be part of it. Now we get into the visual identity. Pillar number 5. For a lot of people, this is where they think branding starts. When they hear branding, they immediately jump into logos, colors, fonts. But here's the thing. Visual identity comes much later in the process, and for good reason. Think about everything we've talked about up to this point. We've considered who your audience is, how your competitors are positioned, the unique space your brand occupies, the personality traits that you want to convey, and the stories and messages that you want to share. Now, imagine a designer creating your visual identity with all of this in mind. They're not just designing a logo. They are creating a visual representation of your brand's DNA, its personality, and its message. Compare that to a designer working with an open brief, with no strategy, no context. Massive difference. When you design your visual identity with strategy in mind, you're giving depth. Your colors, your fonts, your logo, they all become tools to tell your story and evoke emotions you want your audience to feel. And here's why it matters so much. Your visual identity is often the first impression people have on your brand. In a split second, it can either grab their attention and spark curiosity, or it can fade into the background. There's no element in branding as impactful as those initial moments when you're visually identified. So yes, it's crucial, but only if and when it's built on a solid foundation of strategy. When you combine strategy with creativity, your visual identity becomes more than just a design. It becomes a powerful tool for connection. So now that we've covered the 5 key pillars of building a successful brand, let's talk about how it all comes together, and more importantly, how you take it to the market. Building a brand isn't just about creating something that looks good. It's about following a clear process step by step to make sure every element works together seamlessly. You start with your brand DNA, your purpose, vision, and values, because that's what guides everything else. Then you dive deep into understanding your audience, figuring out who they are, what they care about, and how you can solve their problems. From there, it's about positioning, finding that unique space in the market where you can stand out and truly add value. Once you know your position, you start defining how you show up, your personality, your messaging, and yes, even your visual identity. By the time you're designing the logo or choosing colors, everything is already grounded in a solid strategy. So next time you think about the definition of branding or brand strategy, think about the 5 pillars that we spoke about today. This is Mr. V, and you're watching The V Factor.